chapter 12, verse 35. Look at this. I'm going to take you right to this point in a minute. Hold on. Luke chapter 12, verse 35. Be dressed and ready for service, and keep your lamps burning. I'm here. This is a word to warriors. A good warrior is watchful. So it says in verse 35, be dressed. In other words, go to bed with your boots on. They had a group in the early days of the founding of America. They were like the militias, and they would go to bed at night with their muskets and their boots on, so that if anything went down, boy, they were up and ready to go. We have pilots that are on strategic command, and what they are is they are sleeping within a short distance from our F-35 jets and other jets. And they are ready. They have everything on. They are like firemen. How many of you know a fireman has his boots sitting there? He has his coats and things. When he gets out of bed, gets in that boots and slides down that pole, while he's getting into that fire truck, he's getting dressed and he's out of there. They time it. And I mean, they push the timer and say, go. And this is what the worshiping warriors should be doing. Be dressed in the worship praise outfit of God, the armor of God, ready for service, and keep your lamp burning. How many here? You got to keep your lamp burning. Because many of you, if you were called on at the moment, your lamp ain't on. And you got no oil in your lamp. And because of it, you couldn't help anybody. You can't give an answer of the hope that lies within you. Verse 35, and keep your loins girded and your lamps burning, and be like men who are waiting for their master to return home. Come on. Be like men that are waiting for their master to return home from the marriage feast, so that when he returns from the wedding and comes and knocks, that they may open to him immediately. Come on. They got to open up immediately. And it says, blessed, happy, fortunate, to be envied are those servants whom the master finds awake and alert. And it said, in the good servant, those who the master finds were watching when he comes. Truly I tell you, he will dress himself to serve. Truly I say to you, he will gird himself and have them recline at table and will come and serve them. And come on, he will come and he will serve you. You got to be ready at all times. Come on, God is up to the timing of these things. This is the time to unlock the gates to the harvest fields. I'm going to help you today at the end of this now to begin to understand that every one of us has harvest fields, and we need to unlock the gate so that we can get to the harvest. And God's given us keys. This is a kairos moment, a strategic time for the body of Christ to enter into the harvest fields and begin to reap the harvest. How do you hear that? It's time. The harvest is available. And I'm believing for people I live around, neighbors and things like that. I'm believing that God is using that to touch them. Using my life. Can you hear that? It's time to be unfettered and to unfetter that which has been held captive and bound by the enemy. Now is the time to unlock the gates to the fields and bring the harvest into the storehouse. It's time right now. This is harvest time. We are a battling group, and we need to go and unlock the gates of the harvest field. Now I'll show you what the enemy's doing. To unlock the gates, we must recognize and come against the illegal dominations of demonic structures from region to region and city to city. It's called territorial spirits. We talked about it on Thursday nights. Every field has the potential within the field to be a harvest. Every farmer knows that it is due season. In due season, there is a short window of opportunity to which he can gather the crops in the field. How do you know a farmer knows that this thing is ready? It's a short period, and we knew when we heard a prophecy from the 1800s when we went into Russia. Pat Robertson gave us a prophecy, and it was from this Chinese guy that prophesied, Hudson Taylor. He was a missionary to Hudson Taylor, and we got his prophecy, and his prophecy said that he was going to close down communism in the Soviet Union, and that it would be a window open for the gospel, and it would be open only for a short period. We rushed in and planted 17 churches in Ukraine, and 124 churches in Moscow, or in Russia. And when we got finished, and not too long back here now, the window has started to close. And it said in the prophecy that it would not be that communism would come in. What would come in would be worse than communism. It would be dictators. How do you know Putin not long ago had a meeting with all his parliament, and he dissolved everybody from being able to do anything to bump him out? He's in. China did the same thing. Have you hear? These guys are setting themselves up. Are you listening to me today? I believe we're in the right season. It's a window, as the farmer knows. It's an opportunity of an unprecedented harvest of souls. Matthew 9:36 through 38. We must open our eyes to see the harvest. Have you heard that? And when he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. And then he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Thus, the Bible school. We must open our eyes to see the harvest. The enemy is targeting our fields. He wants to stop the seasons. He wants to stop your time to reap the harvest. Let me tell you something. Let me show you a parallel. We must open the gates to the harvest. What is it that these rioters are doing? Well, these rioters are going into our cities and they're tearing down gates. Hello? The lawlessness spirit is using them to attack gates, business gates. People put up gates to protect their business. Home gates, like we see the couple in Missouri. Government gates, have you know, like these police precincts. Have you know, church gates where they're burning churches. Hello? And so we need to see that the enemy is only mirroring what God is saying to us. We must unlock the harvest gate, and the enemy is trying to tear down all the gates. He hasn't been able to locate your harvest gate. He's got all the wrong gates. He's trying to tear down empty business gates, and the harvest ain't there. He's trying to take down empty church gates, and the harvest ain't there. He's trying to find a gate. He's moving in the earth trying to figure out where is the gate of their harvest. Are you hearing me? Where is the gate of your harvest? Wow. I'm going to land on this. You got to get this. Go to Nahum. Nahum is a prophet to Nineveh. Can I give you the setting? He is a prophet. Oh, I wish you would get this today. He's a prophet to Nineveh. Nineveh is the only city in the Old Testament that had a major revival. We know Jonah went in there, but he went in reluctantly. I preached that recently. He went in there out of rebellion, was ticked off with God because God saved the people. And the prophet says, woe, Nahum 3:13. No, Nahum 3:1. Woe to the city of blood, full of lies. Now, I want you to see the cities in America. Watch this. Woe to the city of blood, full of lies, full of plunder, never without victims. I saw in one of the cities they have the armed militia now, the rioters. And the idiots shot 3 of their own people. That's a lot. That's the guy I want to go to battle with, who shoots his own people. How many of you know you don't have to be smart to be in riots? I think one of the prerequisites is you have to be an idiot. What is a city of blood, full of lies, full of plunder, never without victims? The crack of whips, the clatter of wheels, galloping horses and jolting chariots. It's talking about our cars and all the vehicles and all that we do. Charging cavalry, flashing swords, and glittering spears, like we see in the cities of Portland. Many casualties, piles of dead, bodies without number, people stumbling over the corpses, all because of the wanting lust of a prostitute, alluring the mistress of sorceries. Remember, Thursday nighters, remember, there's always an occult practice of witchcraft behind our cities. The spirits of witchcraft that are behind our cities is the lust of prostitute, would be the lust of Jezebel, alluring the mistress of sorceries, who enslaved nations by her prostitution and peoples by her witchcraft. I am against you, declares the Lord Almighty. I will lift your skirts over your face, and I will show the nations your nakedness, and the kingdoms your shame. I will pelt you with paint bullets and rubber bullets. Oh, can you see this? I will treat you with contempt. I will make you a spectacle. All who see you will flee from you and say, Nineveh is in ruins. Chicago is in ruins. New York's in ruins. They're moving. Who will mourn for her? Where can I find anyone to even comfort her? Are you better than the Thebes, situated on the Nile, with water around her? The river was her defense, the water's her wall. Cush and Egypt were her boundless strength. That's talking about the Ethiopians in that region of Africa and all that part there. Put the Libya were among her allies, yet she was taken captive and went into exile. Her infants were dashed to pieces at every street corner. Lots were cast for her nobles, and all her great men were put in chains. Watch this. All of her statues of Washington and all of these great men were put in chains. You too will become drunk. And it says, lots cast for her nobles, and all her great men will be put in chains. And then it says, and you too will become drunk, and you will go into hiding and seek refuge from the enemy. All your fortresses are like fig trees with the fruit ripe, with the first ripe fruit ready to go right now. The harvest is ready right now. When they are shaken, the figs fall into the mouth of the eater. This is the verse 13. Look at your troops. They are all weaklings. The gates of your land are wide open to your enemies. Fire has consumed the bars of your gates. Have you seen this? The gates of your land are wide open to the enemy. But saints, hear me today, thus saith the Lord. The enemy has not found the gate to your harvest. He can't find it. God has blinded him. God has kept him from finding the gate to your children, the gate to your harvest. He's not letting the enemy find your harvest field. They're chained up our statues. They're bringing down our nobles, Franklin, Roosevelt's, and all those. They're going to tear them down because they're looking for your harvest.
Thank you for watching Rock City Church Online. We pray this message strengthens and encourages you to be all God has called you to be. You can support Rock City Church by giving online through the links in the description, or by visiting our giving page at giver.cc. Join us for our next live stream on Thursdays at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 10:30 a.m. And remember, our prayer room and prayer line are always available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For prayer, call our 24-hour prayer line at 410-882-2689.